Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's Halloween video, I am going to be doing another makeover on my friend Candace. She is very willing to do gory makeup, really bloody, really scary, spooky makeup, and I really love that about her. So we decided to do this creepy voodoo doll. So the very first thing I did was I took some of my modeling wax. I'm not using Ben Nye. This one I actually just got off Amazon, which is really cheap. It was about $8 for a 7-ounce bottle, I believe, or container. And so I took a couple of pieces of wax and made them into little coils. And then I started to place them on her face. We're going to make like a cross almost. And just first, I'm going to start blending it down and into her skin. You can use spirit gum if you'd like, but just because we knew we weren't going to be keeping it on for a long time, I didn't want to have to put the spirit gum on her and then her have to take it off with the remover just because it is so difficult to take off. If this was something you were going to be wearing for a long period of time, I would definitely recommend putting spirit gum. But after I have placed all of the wax down, I have a sculpting tool that I use, and one side of it is just really flat. So I use that part to blend it up and into her skin. And this also helps it stick really well. This modeling wax specifically does start to melt really, really fast. So if it's on your skin or in your fingers for too long, it'll almost just start to dissolve and completely break apart. So that's why I wanted to make sure I had it down first and then started blending it with this tool. This tool I got off of Amazon as well. It was pretty cheap. It came with just the one tool and then also a little metal tray. That way you can put different kinds of paints or modeling wax on it and just work on it from there. And that was about maybe like $5 on Amazon. So I'll link both of those in the description below just in case you want to purchase them. So I'm also going to be putting the modeling wax over her mouth as well. So, we're eventually going to be splitting it in half, so if this was something you wanted to wear all night, you'd still be able to talk. Drinking probably wouldn't be the easiest, or eating, but hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do for the look. And so I did it across her entire mouth, almost like the Chelsea smile, but we're going to be cutting it split and it's going to go all the way across like up to her ear rather than just stopping in the middle of her cheek. So I had a bunch of the coils already made and that way I would just be able to place them on rather than going back and forth and making them consistently. Just makes it a little easier and that way they're not, like I said, melting. And then with the other side of the tool, it's just a sharper point and I started to cut the modeling wax in half. So we're going to be putting some blood in between there. So just exactly, we can just call this a cross because that's the only thing I can think of as a reference for it, is just splitting it right across. So down her, like the middle of her face, the sides of her mouth, her chin, and then also the lips. So on the chin, I started to realize that it wasn't as straight with the top. It was kind of lopsided. So I just redid it real quick, blended it, and then made the line down the middle again. It just looks a little more symmetrical this way since I was getting a little off when I was blending it together. Definitely take your time here also because this type of wax specifically, it depends what kind you use. It does tear and just start to break apart. So I would definitely just try and do it as soft as you can, especially when you're using a tool like that, where it'll just split. And then I took my Ben Nye thick blood and with a really small brush, I started applying that inside of each of the coils. We definitely want this to be a lot thicker and a lot darker than the rest because we're going to be putting blood all over. So just with a really small brush, I started applying all of the blood on the inside. And then just kind of as time goes on, you can start to add more as you get closer. Just because with this kind of blood, if you only use a little bit, it looks way too bright red. and you want it to be really dark. So the more that you use, the more of the effect that that'll give, and that's kind of the whole point of this kind of blood specifically, so you want to use more of it. I just wanted you guys to know that I am uploading a new video every single day in October. So I have 31 videos. If you haven't seen my previous ones, I am linking that in the description below. And that way you can check them out. You can always go to my channel. You can check out my Instagram. I posted some pictures on there as well. So you can follow that. And then once I am finished with the thick blood, I took my Ben Nye dark blood and with a small stipple brush or sponge, I went ahead and started adding blood all over, basically just where the wound is. With this, it doesn't blend it in completely, so I ended up taking a small brush as well and kind of just blending in the blood to make it look darker, and so it didn't look so patchy because of this sponge. But this gives it a really nice effect, making it look like it's been splattered and just kind of like all over the place, and I really like that. So use the sponge first and then take a small flat brush like this one. It's by Morphe and it works perfectly for this. So just around the outside of the wound, you can go ahead and just add some blood and blend it out. And then as you can tell, I did go all the way up to her ear when I was doing almost like the smile. I didn't want it to just stop right in the middle, like I said, with a normal Chelsea smile. And I really liked how that looked. It looked really cool, especially for this, considering that it's like a voodoo doll. And I feel like it worked perfectly for it. But once I am done blending in all that blood, I just took that stipple sponge again and just kind of made some marks all over her face. And then for the eyes, I wanted to make some X's. So I went ahead and I took my NYX cream paint, which I actually just got recently, which has been a lifesaver because I was using grease paint before, and that is just terrible trying to take it off. It's almost impossible, or it just takes forever. So I'm really glad that I got this cream paint. It's a lot easier to take off, especially just with like makeup remover wipes or even with my makeup eraser. But I went ahead and I made the lines for the X's, and then I wanted them to be a little bit thicker. So just with, this is like an angled brush. It's a real paintbrush, so I just used that to make these X's, which works perfectly. You can try and just line them up as well as you possibly can, but I went ahead and I just made those X's a little bit thicker. And then I'm doing the other side now. I'm gonna speed this one up just a little bit since it is the same exact process on the other side with the black paint. So I'm just gonna be using the same brush. I already have the lines that I made for the X. I'm just gonna follow them and make it a little bit thicker. So once I finished with the X's, the large X's, I wanted to make smaller X's on each point of the shape. So just with the same paint and with the same brush, I made some smaller X's on the points of each of them. And then I feel like this kind of just brought it together. It looks really cool. I wanted to make some drips on her mouth. So I just took my Ben Nye Dark Blood again with a brush. You can either just kind of paint on the lines for the drips, or you can try and make some yourself. Just be really careful because it'll just get everywhere. I've gotten super messy with this before. But I went ahead and put some of those drips on her mouth. And then I also put on a wig for her, which I also purchased on Amazon. It's just a full black wig, and then I put my black backdrop up because I feel like it definitely helped with the effect of this look. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love you all so much. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and I will see you tomorrow.